what I'm going to go through is a little bit of a presentation, a little bit of information, and to share with you everything that I guess I want you to know about growing and launching with bundles. I will probably pause a little bit through like a couple of times through this presentation, for want of a better word, and just take any questions that come up at that point, but there'll be plenty of time at the end for any questions as well. So because I'm viewing through Zoom and through this page that I'm on, I can't actually see your comments in the moment, but I will, like I say, pause and check in at any given time. All right, so here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to cover the real numbers so my own personal real numbers from participating in bundles every week from the 28th of August through to the 9th of November. So a good chunk of time, you can kind of see how my list has grown over that period. I'll also share how hosting a free bundle can grow your list from anywhere from 500 to 2,000 leads in just 1 week. We're going to go through how with the right bundle and the right strategy, your new audience is now primed and ready to buy ahead of your forthcoming launch. And as I said, there's going to be some time for questions. All right. So let's look at the real numbers. So this is, as you can see, from the 1st of September through to the 27th of November when I pulled this image, and this is the number of people on my email list. So at the start of September, we had 2,050 subscribed people. So you can see right to the end here, we've got just around 3,500. And you can see again that we're growing slowly and steadily. There is a little bit of a peak, a jump up in October, and that one is because I hadn't uploaded a large chunk of people from this Facebook group. That's about, like, I think 500 leads that just jumped up at that point. But otherwise you can see, like, you know, steady growth, and it was like pretty slow here. So not as many bundles, or the bundle didn't grow the list as high. And then up and down a little bit, and that's just what happens when we get into bundles. We have some growth and then some people drop off the list, and then some more growth. And at this point, it's sort of when I started my launch campaign. So for those that might not be aware, I'm in the middle of a launch at the moment for my signature mastermind, Launch Like an Introvert. And what happens in launching is that people drop off as well. So we, can grow, but we also lose people as we go through just campaigns that we do, and just in the fact that bundles, people don't always stay on the list with us. So let's look at that information from a bundle by bundle perspective. And we're not necessarily looking at this to judge any results that have been, received, or kind of talking about, here necessarily that like a paid bundle just didn't perform as highly as others. It's more to show you the total. So, and the total per bundle, and also the timeframes that it was happening on. So you can sort of see that 2nd to the 6th of October is around this point where we kind of slowed down, and then, the jump for the 500 people, and then we kind of, kept growing a little bit. Okay, so the first bundle, we had 192 leads come through on that one, and that was purely a free bundle. We then had another bundle, which was a hybrid. So that meant that there was 2 tiers. There was a free bundle and a paid bundle, and I was included in both. So this number is not only the paid bundle, which doesn't necessarily have as many leads as you can expect, and the free offer as well in that bundle. So they're combined. And then we had a really great result in one of these other free bundles, so 379. And then a little bit of a break, so a little bit of time between that, and 63 in this bundle. We then had 4 from a paid bundle. So as I said, I'm not going to get into like the results around what that was about, but you can kind of see that, as I said before, paid bundles don't tend to get you as many leads, right? We don't get as many, from there, just because not as many people purchase. So as a host, you might get some good numbers. You might get 100, 200 leads in a paid bundle, but for the contributors, it doesn't necessarily trickle down as much. It all depends on, the niche of the bundle, how tailored it is to the audience, and how well that bundle actually sells to how it trickles down to the host. Sorry, from the host to the contributors. Then we had another hybrid free and paid bundle. So that was 230 leads came in through there. We had a 7th bundle, which was 155. And then a really big bundle came in towards the end, and we had 546. And then our last one was our paid bundle for 16. So as you can see, we collected over the course of 91 days. And I say 91 days because it's from the 28th to the 27th. So 28th of August to the 27th of November, the time in which, I collected the leads, because although these are the dates of the bundle, there's obviously dates when people can still redeem later on. So the expiry date of the coupon or whatever, that goes until the date that I indicated before. So we had 1,772 leads added to my list in 91 days. So in 3 months, I've grown my list that much. But if you look back, you don't necessarily see that in here because we have 500 here. So let's do the quick calculations. Let's say, I'm just getting my calculator out. Do this with me if you want. We're sitting at 3,500 right now, and we started at 2,050. That is 1,450. So you can tell already some of those leads have dropped off, right? We've enrolled them, but they haven't necessarily, remained subscribed. And then, as I said, there's about 500 that I added to the list that need to be accounted for. So even if we say that that's 450, then that means there's 1,000 people now still on my list. There might be some of those people, those 1,772, some of those people may already be on my list as well. So over the course of 3 months, I've added roughly 1,000 people to my email list, which is still really good, right? But you kind of can see that when we do bundles, I just want to make it clear that we do see some drop off, right? And that's okay. That's as long as we expect that and know that's going to happen. And it's really about taking those next steps to nurture. So I'll get to that in a moment. So that is option 1, to participate in, 9 different bundles over the course of 3 months, week on week, basically. There was, as I said, a period of time where there was like maybe a week of a gap and some time where it kind of slowed down as well. So that is definitely going to be my emails are going to be really focused on sending promotional content to these bundles, and whether or not you can actually, sustain that with your own email list is something for you to assess and see if that's possible. If it's not possible, if that feels like way, 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 way too many bundles to be involved in, which is totally understandable. It seemed like that to me as well, but looking back, it's okay now. At the time, it did seem like a lot. So let's talk about option 2 now, and that is to host your own bundle. So you can sort of imagine that all of those 3 months can come in and you can get the same results in just 1 week. So as you might have seen in my Facebook group already, I asked in a poll, who's run a free bundle in the last 12 months, and just to give us the results. So you can kind of get a feel as to what the results are. And pretty much everyone gave us over 500 leads and up to 2,000 leads. Some people may have had more than that. So in just 1 week, you don't have to do what I did, which is participating in so many bundles. You can bring in a good chunk of people in one go, which is really cool. Again, we will anticipate that some of these people will drop off, but you've grown your list significantly in such a short period of time, right? So out of the 13 people that responded, 92 of the people that responded have added over 500 leads in just the 1 week with hosting a free bundle. Really, really cool. So, you know, the significant percentages, 500 to 1,000 leads and over 2,000. And so, you know, there'll be different reasons as to why bundles perform differently. There's even a response on this post, which you can go back and have a look at. I've pinned it to the top of the group section, the featured section. Someone mentioned that they got around 500 leads, and they explained the reason for that was because they had a really small collaboration. They had 8 people in the bundle, but those 8 people got brought in such a really, I guess, nurtured, engaged group of people that were on their email list. It really helped, to form the type of bundle that they were going for. And those results were really quite great. With 8 different contributors, you might expect 100 leads, but they, 5x that. So that was a really good example of different strategies, different methods here can make a huge difference in the amount of leads you get as well. The next thing is you've added a whole bunch of new people to your list, to your email. What's next? Before I get there, I'm just going to jump into Facebook and see how we're going. If there's some questions, I can take a bit of a breather while I do that. Okay. Hi, everyone. So good to see you. All right, Suzanne, how many bundles do you participate or host per year or per quarter? So how many do I do? How many bundles do I participate in? Well, there was 9 in 1 quarter. It's not really a proper quarter, but it was 90 days. That is abnormal for me. I kept getting lots of people asking me to be in bundles, and I couldn't say no. So I did kind of, regret that at the time. It's a really interesting case study though now, I guess, to be able to show you guys what that looks like. And yeah, as Suzanne, with your follow-up question, to avoid burning myself out or my list. Yeah, and that's a huge priority for me, to be honest, to make sure that I don't burn out and that, we don't churn through the email list too much. You could say that maybe that huge kind of differentiate, the amount between the amount of people that signed up for my individual offers in each bundle and the amount that remained on my list could be because I was sending them so many different emails about different bundles. But there's not a lot of evidence. It's very anecdotal. Maybe there's a bunch of people that were really excited that I was sending them to another bundle because that was the first one that they experienced, and now they're in a whole bunch of different offers and programs that they would never have come across. So it's a hard one. That I personally, when you're starting out, I would never do what I did. I would definitely only do 1 bundle a month at the most, because to be honest, the main reason for that is it allows you space to actually do your own promotion. The biggest thing that I found difficult in that time frame was that I didn't have a lot of space to email people about my own things. As you can imagine, some bundles required 2 emails, which is fine, but then if I only want to email my list 3 times a week, that's that might be too many for some people. That only leaves one or 2 emails for me to actually promote my thing, or to nurture my audience. So yeah, you've got to think about that. In terms of hosting, I probably would only host one every 6 months. To be honest, because of the amount of work involved, it's a great result, but it does take a lot of work, and there's energetically for me as much as anything else. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I'll talk about, I guess, the end strategy behind why I did do this in a moment when I get to the next stage. But yeah. All right, Sherry, have you found that your conversion rate to your paid product is higher with paid bundles, or is it about the same? I haven't actually, I guess, looked at that data myself. When I think about the tripwire or the order bumps that I've put on either of my bundle like offers, so even, you know, my free bundle offers and the ones that are in paid off, the volume is the reason why we get the sales. So yeah, the conversion rate is based on, obviously, you know, the amount of people that sign up for the thing. And let me go back to this bundle. I'm just going to go back to this screen and share again for you. Okay, when I go back to this bundle here, this is the one where I saw a lot of conversion on my order bump. And you can imagine, like, yes, that's because there's a higher frequency or higher volume of people signing up for the free thing. But also what happened was, like, I chose a really, really good order bump that was an easy yes, that really made sense with the product as well. So the conversion rate means nothing if you don't have an aligned offer that really talks to the thing that that your free or your paid offer in your bundle is kind of like taking someone towards. It's kind of like, you know, it's almost thinking of it as a funnel from the start, and considering that we are, you know, bringing people through that funnel with our free offer at the top, or the, you know, the thing in the bundle, right, is the freebie basically, even though, you know, we want to think about it as they're paying students because they are part of your, you know, student network now. We still need to like bring them further down the funnel with other, you know, options. So without it being, you know, smart and like kind of really beautifully aligned to the offer, it's not going to work. The conversion rate's not going to matter anyway. So yeah, I will definitely look into that data in a bit more, just to see, you know, like you say, it's really interesting to analyze. But it kind of leads me to my next step, which is to grow. Like, so you're growing a list, right? But now we're going to actually launch off the back of that from this bundle, from collecting, you know, people, whether it is the version 1 and doing a whole bunch of bundles and growing your list slowly but surely over time and kind of like nurturing them as you go, or a big chunk of people in 1 week. So what I want to talk to you about is how I can help with this. So we're going to get into like the part of the presentation where I tell you about what I can do to solve the problem. But yeah, this is still, I guess, a teaching moment at the same time. So don't turn off just yet if you're like, I don't want to know what you're selling, Brie. So basically, I wanted to let you know that we can tailor your bundle to your offer so that your launch in, you know, 4 weeks after your bundle ends can be really successful. So we'll, you know, work at generating sales from those people who are now problem aware, they're engaged, and they see you as authority on the subject that they need help with. And the reason for that is because you have nurtured them, right? So rather than selling something immediately after a bundle, you're walking them through, you know, a bit of a nurture sequence and pre-launch. And I'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like in a moment. But in addition to that, the key thing here is what I was, you know, just touching on before, is having a really smartly aligned offer to complement the thing that your bundle is about. So whether it's your bundle item that is in the, you know, the offer in the bundle, or your bundle theme and message that, you know, leads into the thing that you're launching 4 weeks later. Okay, so that is probably the key part, to be honest, ensuring that what it is you're selling, what your plan is to launch, is so closely aligned and is the logical next step, the thing that people will need once they've gone through the bundle or the offer that you've created for the bundle, or submitted for the bundle. Once they've gone through that, that's going to then raise another set of challenges. And so this is where you have the problem that you can solve for them. So you might be wondering, like, why should you wait 4 weeks before you launch? And why shouldn't you just, immediately sell something to someone in like a 7-day, like, evergreen email sequence? You can definitely do this. And particularly it will work quite well for when you're contributing to bundles. But there's 2 reasons why I want you to wait. And that is, firstly, to give yourself an energetic break between the 2 big activities. So when you're hosting a bundle, if you haven't hosted before, I want to let you know, so there's no like misunderstanding, there is a lot of work that goes into a bundle. If we're completely honest, it can take weeks or months to put together. There's a lot of energetic kind of strain or request on you. There's people that you're collaborating with, there's all of the content that you're writing, the promotional aspects that you're putting into things, as well as requesting other people to help with the affiliate marketing and all of that sort of stuff. There's a lot. It is a big launch in itself. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. And so I really recommend that you do take that break between a bundle and a launch, because a launch in itself is and can be, not always, but it can be stressful, exhausting, etc. So we want to give yourself some time, some space, just to re-energize and to get kind of like back into a space where you can sell from a really good place, basically. And then obviously the next part of it is to nurture your new leads and to begin taking them through your pre-launch content. So if you give yourself these 4 weeks, we can kind of really nurture people, because they're brand new to you, right? There might be some people, like I said before, that are already on your email list, and this is just something really exciting that they've been able to collect in their collection of all of your offers from you. But we really want to take these 4 weeks to nurture people, like I said, down the funnel, and take them through all of your pre-launch content. So one of the things that people don't realize when we're launching is that a lot of the sales and the conversion that you get in a launch when you have your cart open actually comes from everything that you've done in your pre-launch. Everything that you've done in that time where you've been warming up your audience, bringing them along the journey with you, giving them a bit of insight as to what it is that you're kind of like working towards, and yeah, really kind of like warming them up to the offer, rather than just hitting them with it in 7 days. They don't know you enough in order to like sign up for something, especially if it's a higher ticket offer. I said before, you can definitely have an evergreen sequence that kind of goes off the back of whatever it is that someone signed up for. And even I've seen some beautiful opportunities like order bumps or tripwire offers that even work in when you're hosting a bundle, and like they can still work. However, that's not necessarily going to be like the ultimate goal of that you're selling someone into. That might be, if we think about the funnel as before, we've got like the top of the funnel is the offer that they signed up for in the bundle. Then we have the next layer, that middle of the funnel is something that they purchase through a tripwire or through an order bump, that kind of takes them that next step down the journey with you, giving them a bit of a feel or a taste of what it is that you do, but doesn't necessarily like solve all of their all of the world's problems. That might be a $9 mini course, or maybe even a mini, like a membership or something like that, just something really quick, easy for them to make a decision on, versus a few $100 course or mastermind or membership in itself, or a group program or something, or $5, we're going to struggle, I suppose, having enough of a conversion in that funnel if we sell them straight into that, in my opinion. So as I said before, without this 4-week break, you are running your risk of not only burning yourself out, but also burning through your fresh new leads before they get to know, like, and trust you. And that's because, if you go straight into full-on selling content, like launch content, then you're going to see the unsubscribes, like I showed you before on the graph, because we know that launches result in unsubscribes, and so do bundles. We're going to anticipate that we'll grow a list, but it'll also creep back down a bit due to just the nature of what it is that we're doing here. Whereas our nurture content, so that pre-launch content, results in high open rates, high click-through rates, and ultimately sales when you launch, because you have helped them understand who you are. They get to know you, they get to like you, and get to a feel of what it is you're doing, and your purpose behind what you're doing, and how that can support them, and you're offering them free things here and there, you're solving problems for them in an email, you're taking them through an email challenge or something. There's some value that you're providing them. And then that gets to the point where they start to trust you, right? They get to know you, they get to like you, and now they can start to trust that you're, here to help them. So all of those things lead to those sales when you launch. So remember, as I said, we've got launches and bundles equal unsubscribes. So if we go back up here, you can see we've dropped off. So that might be 100, I don't know, that's a guess, 200 maybe, people that have dropped off from when they sort of joined the list, and when now basically throughout the launch it's slowly kind of dropped back down. And that happens, and it's okay. That's what part of the reason why we launch to grow our list, but also to fine-tune the people that are on the list as well, and making sure that they know that is what you're doing. Some people will join an email list thinking they're doing signing up for something, and it is completely different to what they thought they were getting, right? So let's talk about what I can help you with. You might have seen me already talk about this. Maybe you've inquired about it, or perhaps you've not. Maybe you're not on my email list, or not checking your emails from me at this point. But as I said at the start, I'm in the middle of a launch for my 6-month mastermind, Launch Like an Introvert. So for those that don't know, what's included in that is 6 months with me. So we actually go through to June, just taking into account that December and January is the time when people will obviously want to have some time off, and myself included. So combining those 2 months into just the one takes us through to June. Throughout that time, you'll have one-to-one coaching and support from me Monday to Friday for the entire 6 months in a Slack channel. So that looks like coming to me with problems that come up for you in the moment, getting accountability, getting kind of support, and me just really kind of cheering you on. So if you putting together a bundle, let's say, and you're not sure about XYZ, perhaps you're thinking, what should I name it? Who should I pitch to? That's what this sort of Slack channel would be for. We can kind of just work through those sorts of things in the moment, and also sometimes some of the mindset stuff that comes up as well. We have every 2 weeks group coaching session. So that is, your opportunity to get in front of me on a Zoom call, and we can work through whatever's coming up for you. We can talk about what your plans are. We can kind of look at, scheduling things out in advance, figuring out what you're launching. All that sort of stuff can work out in there if it doesn't come up in the Slack channel already. We also have monthly mindset reset sessions every month. And so basically the point of, or the purpose behind these, are to help you with any of those subconscious things that kind of lurk below the surface, and in a launch really come up and start to tell you that they're there and tell you that there's a, something that you need to deal with. So this is, things like limiting beliefs and, mindset blocks and stuff that kind of maybe you've kind of pushed to the side till now, but in a launch they come right up, don't they? They definitely make themselves visible and known. So that is, things like we do tapping sessions, we can do hypnosis. There are things like meditations and visualizations that we can go through and just help you, and the group through, depending on what it is that they need in the moment. We obviously have our Launch Like an Introvert foundational curriculum, which has all of the resources to help you like with launching your way, which is the introvert way. And that really helps to guide you across the time together. So the curriculum is based on an 8-week timeline, but it's broken into 5 parts. So if you have already created your course and it's something, or, I say a course, but think, group program, offer, anything that you're thinking about doing. If you've already created your course in advance and now it's just about relaunching it on the back of the bundle, then you can kind of skip some of the parts earlier on and really focus on the other sections, like the sales aspects and some of the debriefing and all of that sort of stuff that comes up towards the end. So yeah, it works you along the way, but it kind of can give you, a bit of a guidance to follow, I suppose. And then lastly, but definitely not least, included in this mastermind is a 7-day launchcation retreat in Bali. You get to choose from one of 2 dates in April or in October next year. And basically a launchcation, if you're not familiar with it, because I came up with the idea or the name, is essentially you're launching from anywhere. And in this case, you're launching from Bali. So you're using the beautiful abundance kind of like vibes that you get when you're in a different location, especially, the place that I've got in mind in Bali. We're going to have, beautiful, luxurious space, and launching from that place will really help you kind of get into the right mindset and feel like, you're in the right place, and not feeling kind of all those sort of wonky things that come up when we're launching. And if they do come up, that's okay. I'm there with you in the moment to help you through and to guide you through. So again, we'll do things like massages, down baths, hypnosis, EFT, all those things we will have there for you as you need them. And then, everything else that you can expect on a beautiful retreat. So that is Launch Like an Introvert. And the reason why I tell you about that is because for this week, so Launch Like an Introvert will close at the end of this week on Friday at, 4 p.m. my time. So I can give you like the translation to tell you what that is. I think it's midnight Eastern, but I will double check. So the 30th, but I'll double check that for you. We will close that offer. But for right now, there is a bonus Bundle Rebellion recipe. So Bundle Rebellion recipe, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, is my method to create and put out a bundle. And that uses my bundle flipbook method. So for those who haven't seen it, it is essentially a digital magazine that you can present your bundle in and have like people can flip through each page and see, what it is that they want to sign up for, what they want to leave, what they want to sign up for. And you can have things like extra pages where you do upsells and stuff like that as well. So that is my method. And I take you through all of the steps, all of the processes, give you all the templates and the strategy so you can kind of use that and grow your list with free bundles. So obviously there's lessons and tutorials to help you along the way. And the reason why I combined these two and giving you this bonus this week is, as I said earlier, we really want to have this kind of like cohesive alignment between what your bundle will be and what you're launching, so that you have a bundle. Let's say, for example, you want to launch a bundle in March next year. So you have your bundle theme set down. Let's think, maybe you're a podcast manager you produce podcasts or something like that. So your bundle will be, obviously themed around casting in some way, and, collaborating with people that aren't necessarily, your direct competition. They're going to fill some of the gaps that you have in your skill set. And ultimately, as I said before, whilst there are other people that they are connecting with, if people that sign up for bundles will start to see you as the authority and really kind of see you as the person that they need to talk to about, the problem that they have, which is starting a podcast. So we have our bundle in March, and then we have about 4 weeks, like I said before, where we kind of do all of our pre-launch nurturing content, giving them freebies, giving them like tips on, how to start a podcast, who to interview, what type of names they could come up with, all that sort of stuff, in your nurture content. And then you present them with your launch, with a launch activation event of some description, whether it's a challenge or a webinar, or, who knows, maybe a private podcast. That would kind of work really well with that particular scenario. And, you then present your launch offer in April. So we've had 4 weeks to kind of walk them through everything. And then, now that you're the authority, now that you're that person that they know and trust and like, you can then present to them that offer. So that is kind of the method to my madness as to why I'm including this, and really giving a bit of a framework, for want of a better word, like a direction to take in the next 6 months. So, maybe you want to have it all done in that first quarter. That's okay. We can kind of take your offer, and work backwards, and like think about when you're actually going to launch it, and work backwards and see if we can get a bundle organized in time as well. So just keep that in mind as something to think about. So if you are interested in that, as I said, it closes in a couple of days. I'll drop the information in a moment, and I'm going to check in on the Facebook comments just to see if there's any questions that I haven't covered, and then there's some more questions below in case there aren't any that haven't kind of been asked. So open to questions now. Let me stop sharing. Sherry says that she hadn't thought about the easy yes idea. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Like, I think if we're not including a tripwire or an offer, like some other small quick win offer in an order bump or whatever, then we've really missed an opportunity. We don't obviously make a sale every time, but there are, some really, beneficial ways to kind of like further our relationship with these new people that have signed up for the thing that we're offering in the bundles, right? So once they've kind of made that financial investment, then they're going to be more engaged in like reading your emails in the future as well. So they become a little bit of a fan of you as well. So yeah. All right, let's see if there's any questions. Drop them in the comments if there are any questions about, the idea of doing what I was suggesting, bringing together a really cohesive and aligned bundle, and then, taking the 4 weeks to nurture your content, nurture your audience with that pre-launch content, and then off the back of that, launching. What are your thoughts on that? Okay. Sherry, I'm promoting my printables membership. This is $47 a month. I'm thinking I should maybe offer a $7 or $9 pack of printables. Yes, that would be fantastic. I think that makes so much sense. Is your membership what you're including? Sorry, I've got Siri thinking I'm talking to her. Is the membership what you plan to include in a bundle, or is that your back end offer you think probably launch? Just so I get that clear. But I think, yeah, pack of printables would make so much sense as an order bump or a tripwire, and people will be like, yeah, done. Yeah, okay, so back end offer, fantastic. All right, so yeah, so then think about like if your printables is your order bump, say, or offer, what is something like, because I think printables will work really well for a inclusion in a bundle as well. What are you thinking about including in a bundle at this point? If it's going to be similar, if it's going to be printables and then you're going to sell printables, there'll be people thinking, why do I need both? You know, you need to be really clear about what they've got for free, you know, through the bundle versus what, you know, the upgrade version would look like. So just keep that in mind as you're kind of like working out that moving forward. Okay, Tiffany, how many products, freebies, etc., would you recommend having in place prior to hosting your first bundle when you're starting out? Yes, this is a really good question. So one of the things, and it kind of comes to one of the questions I'd pre-prepared just in case, was people always ask, you know, how do I know when I'm ready to host my own bundle? And this definitely comes down to it, like having a bit of a product suite in place, something that, you know, you can work on selling, I suppose. We want to have, you know, a clear direction. So we want to have at least one freebie, one low cost, easy yes offer, one mid ticket, and then maybe, you know, depending on what your business is, maybe something that's like one-to-one or a higher ticket offer. And that's just purely, you know, this is using the funnel strategy. Not everyone kind of uses that like ascension model or doesn't like to do that, and that's okay. I tend to think in that way because it really helps with the way in which stuff. I think I lost my audio for a minute. So Tiffany, as I was saying before, we've got the layer of, you know, one to infinity, one to many, and one to one as well. So we take people down in that way. I probably don't have enough time to go into detail on that, but I hope that answers your question around how many products and how many freebies, because you do want to have the systems in place. You do want to know that you can like move people through a bit of a funnel and get them from A to B or even C. Okay. So let me just look at some of the questions that I had pre-prepared just in case. Yeah, there's some that pop up. So one of the questions that you might be thinking about is, what if I'm not ready to host a bundle? So if that's the case, if you feel like you're not ready to host, then I would suggest you kind of do a version of the strategy that I showed you before, where you just, you know, participate in bundles as frequently as you feel possible for you. I definitely wouldn't recommend to most people to do a bundle every week for 90 days. I think that's not sustainable. But for me, it kind of was my main and really the only lead generating activity that I was engaging in for my launch that I'm currently in. So I kind of knew that this was the direction that I was going to take, but I wouldn't recommend it to most people. So yeah, identifying what is the right amount of bundles for you to participate in. And if you want to learn more about like the participation side, the contribution side, then I would definitely recommend you jump into my Bundle Better membership. That takes you through everything from that perspective. The other question that might come up from that one is, how do you know if you're ready to host a bundle? So taking us back to what Tiffany was saying, we need to know that we have enough systems in place, offers in place. We need to be able to sustain the amount of work that's going to be required, even with all the templates, even with all of the strategy and support from me to help you through it. It's going to take a lot of your time, and whether you can outsource some of that to your VA if you have one, or just acknowledging that this will be the big project you're working on for that quarter. And some things may take a back seat, so you need to be able to be financially able to do that and be in a position where you can kind of like put other things to a side, and you might not be able to sell as much because you're totally focused on all of the things to do with the bundle. So that can be one of the things you want to consider as you are hosting a bundle, the time, the capacity, all of that sort of stuff. I'm here to help you with it, but not everyone's ready for it. And I don't want people to get into creating a bundle thinking that it's going to be easy, because it certainly isn't. So a question that might pop up is, you've already hosted a bundle. Can you reverse engineer this launch strategy? I think you definitely could, but you would want to have that 4-week timeline still. So if you've hosted a bundle and it is like a few months ago, you haven't been nurturing in that time, then you might have missed your opportunity, to be honest. If it is a couple of weeks in and you sort of emailed here and there, you might still be able to pick it up and get people engaged. But there's this window of time from when you've hosted your bundle and to when you're going to be able to continue to engage with. So question might be, I want to host a paid bundle, will this still work? So yes, it could still work, but you're going to end up with less qualified leads, but potentially more, what's the word? More ready to purchase leads. So an example of this is like a paid challenge versus a free challenge. You're going to get less people in that paid challenge than you would in the free challenge, but perhaps those people in the paid challenge are more likely to take action, more likely to show up, and more likely to be, willing and ready and able to purchase something that you're, going to sell later. And that's because they've already put their hand in their pocket and gotten their credit card out, so therefore they're potentially more likely to do that again. So if you were to apply this theory to a paid bundle, just acknowledging that your volume of people that you're signing up to your offer is going to be lower, but potentially more valuable in the long run, I potentially. Okay, so there might be some extroverts here and they're thinking what if I'm an introvert? What if I'm not an introvert? Will this still work? So yes, it could still work. Even Launch Like an Introvert as a program potentially could work for you. It depends on if you want to create a bit of a calmer launch style, if you want to, or if you need the space when you're launching to, take some time to yourself and really kind of connect with what you are putting out into the world, but also listening intuitively to what your audience needs from you and, engaging with them and connecting with them. So I call it Launch Like an Introvert. So you kind of think, you're launching like an introvert rather than you are an introvert. So I don't exclude people, but you want to have this kind of lower energy kind of exchange type of launch, rather than, I find that personally that extroverts can do a lot more and sustain it. We all need time and time to recharge, but I find that extroverts can get on the video and talk for an hour and not feel exhausted at the end of it. So there's that sort of thing to think about if that's you. So one of the questions could be that, you're wondering when Launch Like an Introvert will close and how much it is to join. So as I said before, it closes this week, the end of this week, on the 1st of December at 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and I will double check the time zone, but you can see there's a countdown timer on the sales page, which I'll drop in here in the comments shortly for you to check out. And yeah, it will tell you and how many hours you've got left or how many days you've got left. In terms of the cost, as this is a 6-month mastermind, there's a retreat involved, there's a lot of one-to-one support. It is a high ticket offer. It is $4,997 pay in full, US dollars, I should say. But there is a payment plan which starts at $555 US dollars for 9 months. So if that sounds like something you would be willing to or able to make the investment in, then I would love to have you join. If you have any questions about the program, the offer, the bonus and how it will all kind of like work together, then I'm definitely open to conversation. My DMs are open, and I'm also offering a strategy session for free, no obligation. So if you want to start to talk about like your strategy for launching next year or a bundle, then I do have, I think, 4 spots left. So if you want to jump into that, then let me know and I'll get you the link to sign up and to get into my calendar. So there's only a few, times left, obviously. So do jump onto that quickly if you'd like. And as I said, there's no obligation. I just want to help you move forward with your launch or your bundle. If it feels good to you, we can talk about the program, the mastermind. If it doesn't, then that's okay. We just move on, and I just cheer you on from the sidelines as you are launching whatever you are. And then lastly, there's one more question on my list. Yes, so you might be wondering, obviously this one closes really soon and we start on the 4th of December. So we kick off next week. And so you might be thinking, gosh, Brie, you're like throwing this at me in the 11th hour. I don't know if I could do this, if the time's right. And you're wondering if maybe you could join next time. And you absolutely can. I will be running this again next year. I will be relaunching in April and we will go through to October next year. However, I do want to say, if you're wanting to launch and have sales in the first or second quarter of next year, if you're wanting to create your bundle and have that out there in quarter 1 or quarter 2 next year, then this is the opportunity to do it together and to get really tailored, individual support from me to walk you through it all along the way, every step of the way, versus kind of, doing it by yourself, doing it kind of like by picking up different ideas from different people and, following other processes that you might have, but maybe don't have the one-to-one support that this does offer. So yeah, you can wait for sure. You'll miss the first retreat, obviously, but yeah, it's an option to think about that when we come back around. But if you really feel like the first half of the year is when you want to make action, make some real action happen and get some steps going towards that, then I would definitely love to see you talk to me about the option, and we can go from there. All right. That is kind of like all I had to say today. I hope that, you found it really helpful to kind of think about the way you can use bundles to grow your list so quickly, whether you do it in 3 months or in a week, it's totally up to you. If you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask them in the comments, or you're welcome to jump into my DMs and ask away as well. But I hope to see some of you guys in the mastermind, and looking forward to helping you and supporting you moving forward. All right. Unless there's any other questions, I'm going to finish off here. See you later.